Oh my goodness. Okay. I was taking a look at this photo. This looks very grainy. Oof. Sorry about that. Looks like it was a little too small or too big. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use it. It's the closest thing that I wanted to use, and I'm lazy. So, is NovoRussiya a blueprint? So, I've talked about Russell Bentley, and I don't care for him, but you know what? Beyond my spurgery is this: he serves his purpose. He speaks to American audiences to say what is going on in NovoRussiya. And he speaks highly of Putin because he knows that NovoRussiya, both the Donetsk and the Luhansk People's Republics, are both reliant on Russia. The fact is that this can serve maybe as a blueprint. I don't know. This is really a thought experiment. Like I say, I'm not tied to specifically any one thing. I'm not. But it's difficult to say. I don't think a revolution in the U.S. will be across the whole country. I don't see that. Like I say, there are plenty of folks who will go out to BLM marches and, choose that side of things instead of something else, So, also, I think that a lot of folks are still comfortable. I was watching a video about revolutions and talking about the potentials of it. Getting support from the military, or getting support from part of the police. Or having a nonviolent revolution where you just vote people out, or you simply create parallel structures, I believe is the term that's used. And I think that these are very important, but it's not really my forte, so I'm not going to belabor those points. What I would say, with NovoRussiya being the example, what would happen in that case? A small portion or, some portion of the U.S. breaks off and becomes its own thing. Not like Chaz. I almost want to do a video about, is Chaz learning? Is Chaz a learning step? It definitely is. The fact is that, no, you're not going to grow food under cardboard, whatever nonsense that is. And you can't just order food. You can't just order pizza and whatnot and then just, not allow the cops to come in. No. You got to have things more organized than that. I think we all admit that, right? You got to get the basic needs met, which includes food and water, Wi-Fi, and pretty much a whole list of things that, people are going to be asking for, right? This is one of the big concerns, the same thing that's included, I remember watching some of these Vice documentaries about NovoRussiya, and people weren't able to get their checks. NovoRussiya was not able to get their checks, from the Ukrainian government. So the folks that retired, they're not getting anything. Instead, they're getting, UN supplies and everything else like that. There's all sort of subterfuge and there's all sorts of propaganda about how strong the Luhansk. Nobody ever talks about the Luhansk People's Republic. They seem to just talk about the Donbass People's Republic. They don't seem to talk about the Luhansk People's Republic as much. I don't know what the split is on that. The thing is, though, it's a complicated story. And of course, I know it's all been documented on Vice News. I don't understand every single aspect of it, but I think it's important to think about, right? It's important to try to understand of what is going on in these places. And I think, like I say, even though it's a small area, how much does NovoRussiya even take up in terms of space? NovoRussiya. Let's see here. It's interesting, of course. Of course, a lot of folks will say Confederate flag. There, Confederation. No, let's see here. Let's see here. Donbass. Okay, so an area of 6,270 square miles. Okay. And it's about $10 billion GDP total per capita, 3,000. Yeah, Russo-Ukrainian war. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff to really take into place here with the leadership and all that sort of thing. Like I said, this is a relatively small part of it, but yeah. Solzhenitsyn, oh really? Yeah. I'm just looking through this honestly because I'm not sure about all the little details of. But people talk, of course, about the Maidan and about the storming of the capital and all that business. And really, they just want to be connected with Russia instead. Yeah. Addressing militia of NovoRussiya, calling upon to show humanitarian compassion, allow surrounding Ukrainian soldiers to withdraw and reunite with their families. Okay. Yeah. There's so much to look through on this, but yeah. Zakharchenko was the former leader who was killed. But I think that could be a potential potential group to be involved with, or potential idea. Yeah. That's funny. It's funny. I'm reading this controversy. Russian dissidents commented that in its political features, nationalism, imperialism, the entity has similarities to the 20th century fascist movements. No, come on. Even I have to say no. Yeah. But I think there is potential there, where part of the U.S. breaks off. Of course, the real question is who would they get support from, this and that, like I say, and they'd have to have resources to be able to get stuff. The U.S., I mean, I'm thinking maybe somewhere like, Montana or something like that. Once again, it all comes back to that, doesn't it? But it could potentially be a blueprint for something more. Like I say, I'm open to ideas. I'm not tied to anyone. And we're just going to see how these things go, right? Like I say, Chaz was just the beginning of something. And we're seeing Elizabeth City break out into trouble. But it sounds like a lot of the protesters are obliging the 12 o'clock I'm trying to think of it now. Curfew. Sorry. Cannot think of it. But yeah. So a lot of, the curfew is, being obliged, and things are happening. Things are happening. So yeah, I think it is worth saying of, where these things are going. Yeah. Yeah. 8 p.m. Oh, it's an 8 p.m. Opposed 8 p.m. curfew. Oh, okay. Oh, this is the one from yesterday. Sorry. I know. Sorry for the sound if y'all hear that. Let me see here. What is this goober's name? I'm trying to think of it. I just want to see if he posted anything else. Yeah. Okay, so they're still talking. Yeah, Ford Fisher, that's his name. Ford Fisher. Yeah, I know that someone, they did mention it, but yeah, let's see here. Is anything else this goober had to say? There we go. We're going to turn that off. Let's see here. But yeah, I don't think there's much else to be said for Elizabeth City. I don't think much is going to happen from it. There's a lot of LARPing that occurred. I showed a video on my second channel. Yeah. Marine veteran drew his concealed firearm, managed to take down a man who had just raped a girl in the bathroom of a grocery store. Huh. Okay. Savannah, Georgia. Police in Minnesota drew up a thorough plan to execute a no-knock warrant against a man they believe to be committing robbery. Yeah, this guy Ford Fisher. Yeah, like I say, I'm just rambling at this point. Like I say, I do think though is to look more at NovoRussiya and see if there could be a potential area and where the support could come from. This and that. Like I say, a lot of folks are still, like I say, the details of NovoRussiya in general are still kind of muddled, and I think it's going to take a long time before people actually write about it. Or maybe they already have, and I just haven't looked. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say on that subject. I hope y'all enjoy this. See you later, and goodbye.